In Elite Dangerous, the fleet carrier, sitting at around 5 billion credits, is currently the most expensive item you can have in-game. It is a status symbol. It's something players want to achieve to get. It's a mobile base of operations to store your ships, your equipment, and all your community goals, swag, and materials, shall we say. You can have a bartender, you can lounge around your bar, you can go to your own Pioneer store for your equipment, you can go to Vista Genomics, you can even purchase ships from a hangar bay. You can store your ships there, and you can jump from system to system to the point of 500 light years currently. You can employ a crew, you can also have your squadron on board. There's many different aspects. These aspects have been in game since fleet carriers were introduced to Elite Dangerous. I recently did a video on the 5 changes I would make to fleet carriers if I was in charge. And that's been met with quite an awful lot of interest and also comments. So here are some more changes I would make to fleet carriers if I was in charge. Why stop at 5? Straight in at number 5 is something that's been a bit of a bone of contention for quite some time. Shuttling supplies to a station. Now we've all done it, or those of us with fleet carriers have done it. We've gone out, we have found certain supplies that are needed for a particular community goal. We've stockpiled them on our ship using a Type 9 or other big heavy transporter, filled up our cargo carriers on the fleet carrier, and then jumped to the community system or somewhere close by. Then we have to decanter all those supplies back in your Type 9 or other cargo carrying transport and ship them all the way over to the station. What a complete and utter grind, and a right old pain in the space underpants. Doesn't need to be though, does it? Why can't we rock up in our fleet carrier and either use one of our ships on autonomous, thus taking it out of the ability for us to use it, or potentially hire a pilot, NPC, or perhaps even our own crew member that generally sit around doing nothing if we're flying a different type of ship, to ferry the supplies over to the station. This could be a way of them earning their money. They'd get a cut of the profits naturally, like they do for doing nothing anyway, in my honest opinion. Or of course, you can do it yourself. Or you could have a shuttle assigned to the fleet carrier that could do this transfer anyway. Think about also the transfer between fleet carriers on autonomous, making them more of that trade hub. Now, if you had a Fortune class carrier, again, I know these are cosmetics in the game, but that would give extra credence to the different roles of the carriers that we've had, and that's what we discussed in the previous video on fleet carriers. So how would this work? So we could either turn around and say, assign one of our fleet of ships, say a Type 9, Cutter, Anaconda, whatever, to be a cargo transfer vehicle, and we'd assign an NPC, our crew NPC, to it to make the transfer. Now we couldn't use that ship while that was happening, we couldn't use that crew member while that was happening, but we could then concentrate on filling up materials for that particular community goal, and FDev do like their go and get this community goals, thus expediting the process. Or we could do it ourselves, or we could just hire an NPC who would bring their own ship around to start ferrying it over. They'd give a quote, we'd say yes to it, away it would go. How cool would that be? So that was number 5, which was the ability to shuttle materials, cargo, between the fleet carrier and another destination. And in at number 4, out of my another 5 ways I would enhance fleet carriers for more enjoyment in-game, is the ability to auto-string jumps across the galaxy. Now let's face it, I don't expect to end up in Colonia, right? But 500 light years, given we've got a crew who have done, especially on my carrier, hundreds of jumps, thousands of hours, why can't they manage something a little bit more than just 500 light years? Now, how would this work? So I'll tell you how this could work. The more you use your fleet carrier, you get a higher percentage of jumps you can do based on your crew experience. Else, what's the point of having the crew and the crew being named, right? Enhanced abilities like, I don't know, upgrade your fleet carrier with a better navigation computer. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? An upgraded Class A hyperspace drive or navigation computer for your fleet carrier could then let you jump, say, 1,000 light years. 16 jumps, you're in Colonia. 21 jumps, you're in the centre. This would be quite good. And all this could happen autonomously. You add where you want to go, it works it out, negating the use of fantastic tools like Spanch. Sorry, Spanch. But like, if that was built into the game, Spanch would not exist. Why are we having to look elsewhere? I mean, I think the third-party tools that are provided by Elite Dangerous commanders and fans of the community are absolutely fantastic. Inara, Spanch, for example. Brilliant. But these are things we should have in-game and reflect directly against what we're doing with this fleet carrier. Plot your route. There it goes. Thanks very much. I'll see you in a couple of hours. You can still play the game. You might not be on your fleet carrier, but you can send it somewhere, or you can bring it to you if you're stranded. Fantastic stuff. 500 light years might have cut it when fleet carriers were just brought out, but now I think we're due a little bit of an upgrade, don't you? Number 3 is a little bit of a community thing. I would like to know who's docked on my fleet carrier, what ships they've got on my fleet carrier, how I can then contact those individuals. As a fleet carrier commander myself, I have often gone off on a bit of a mission, perhaps to the Crystal Shard site to fill up on materials, and then some poor old commander has got hold of me via a weekly stream on a Saturday and Sunday and said, "Oh my god, Rick, why am I here? I've only got an Eagle on your fleet carrier. If I had known, I could have done something about it." I want the ability to leave messages on a fleet carrier bulletin board. I want the ability to see who's on my fleet carrier. Let's treat fleet carriers like a community hub. It's what they could be, potentially for squadrons and other people, other commanders who play in a group. How would this work? Well, we have the monitors in-game. We have the captain's ready room. Why can't there be a monitor in there that says, people docked at the fleet carrier, and these are the ships they have docked there, and this is the inventory of that particular ship. This is when they were last logged on and seen. So you know, as a responsible commander, you can say, right, I'm jumping off to the Crystal Stars, or I'm jumping off to Colonia, and then the other commander coming on after having a 2-week holiday in Mallorca, for example, then finding himself halfway across the galaxy with no way of getting back and at the whim of the owner of the fleet carrier. I think that, personally, is a really good idea and could be an easy way to implement this from Frontier, just to enhance fleet carriers that little bit more. Ooh, it's a big one this for number 2, tritium transfer. Now, as it stands today in-game, what happens is you have a tritium supply on your carrier. About 1,000 tons of tritium. Now, these get depleted every jump that you make. Naturally, you've got to burn that fuel. However, if you've got, say, 11,000 tons of tritium in your cargo hold, you cannot directly transfer from the cargo hold to your tritium fuel tank on your carrier. You have to decanter it out of your cargo hold onto a sizable ship, for example a Type 9, cutter, something with an awful lot of cargo space to make it a bit easier, and then pour it all in manually into your tritium fuel tank. Why can't you do that? If it's your tritium and you get down to say, to the point where you can't make a jump, it says, would you like to transfer tritium from your cargo hold? Again, we have these panels all over the ship to be accessed by commanders, by the captain, the commander, whatever you want to call him, who sits on the top deck of that fleet carrier. Even in the ready room or from the command chair, where only you, the carrier owner, has access. Do you want to transfer tritium? Oh yes, I do. Thanks very much. Little bit of grind removed. Little bit of quality of life for us fleet commanders, for our fleet carriers. Nice and easy. Easy to implement. I don't know why they haven't done it. How cool would this be? This would also be able to, what we said earlier on, about having longer autonomous jumps. They could do it, they could not do it. If you want to limit people to the amount of jumps, well, your range is down to how much you've got in the fuel tank. If you want to extend that frontier, then you are limited then only to how much tritium you can have in your carrier cargo hold. Let me think on this one. I haven't quite teased this one out in my brain how it could really work. I just know I think it's a good idea to have that automatic ability to transfer tritium from your cargo hold into your fleet carrier tritium tank without having to do it manually. Because that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And before we all start rolling our eyes about the final one in this video, which is Thargoid War Support, let me explain. Now, some of you out there might think, well, we're doing alright with that Thargoid War as it stands, thanks very much. We've got all the Titans are starting to be completely cut off from the rest of their support from the galaxy. We're able to destroy the Spire sites, or at least poison them, and giving them a right old kick in the space underpants. However, here's my point. We've seen that Thargoids are attacking megaships, as we can see here on the screen. Yet Thargoids haven't come anywhere near fleet carriers. Why is that? We know our fleet carriers are armed, and there's a potential host of having a battle go on there. A couple of years ago, we saw the Cannon fleet carrier, or Cannon megaship, that people could dock with, traverse the galaxy. Now, the clever people at Cannon, I believe it was, then jumped into a zone that was in Thargoid control space. Can't exactly remember how it happened, but there was quite a few things going on. There was a huge raging war, commanders were being blown off the launch pads, there was a bug there, but really it was a good game. Once you got out there, managed to get out there and engage the Thargoids, you could actually do something about it. My point being through all of this is there's an opportunity here for FDev to include fleet carriers in the Thargoid War. And why not? They're a player resource to be used. Fly them in. Let them take out scouts. Let them take out things in a community combat zone. Let them drop them in orbit above a Spire site. Those Spire sites are so big you can see them from orbit. Let's drop a fleet carrier in there. At least it might be able to help out with some of the ongoing Thargoid onslaught you have while you're trying to deal with all the Banshees. Or if not, just the scouts. Why not, hey? Why not? The ability to change the Thargoid war effort in a system. Their war status. Invasion state? No problem. We're going to drop 15 fleet carriers in there and see how that changes you, Mr. Thargoid. Take that in your space underpants. Anyway, what I'm saying is that this is an opportunity here for FDev to do more with fleet carriers. Now, some of these may be a little bit ranty. I appreciate all the comments that have been put on the previous video and on the thread on the community page on YouTube of my channel. It's good stuff. Hopefully some people will listen. So far, no one's reached out, but we'll have to wait and see. If you've got any more ideas, hey, let me know. The thread's still running on the community tab on YouTube, or you can send me an email. An email is linked to the YouTube page as well. Or just hit me up on one of the live streams on a Saturday or Sunday, and we can have a good discussion about this. It's always good to explore new ideas and new ways that us, the community, can make Elite dangerous. Just that little bit less grindy and a little bit more interactive. I've been Ricardo. Thanks very much for watching. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.